Exclusive, expensive, exorbitant, a touch of glamour on your arm or a status symbol. Call it what you will, but the world of luxury and designer labels has plenty of fantasy, aspiration and of course, a heavy price tag attached to it. Some of it is often out of our reach. Well, not anymore. One venture is making brands like Chanel, Gucci and Louis Vuitton more accessible. What's the catch? The designer label will be pre-owned, but you can buy it.
If there is one hot ticket startup segment in India, it's e-commerce. And e-commerce companies are mushrooming across the country. But we've got our eyes set on one that's oozing with luxury. This is Confidential Couture, a startup that allows you to buy and sell pre-owned designer goods. But it is a tumultuous time for the e-commerce market, with many companies shutting shop. So on Unicorn, we want to know, what's keeping the bunch at Confidential Couture so confident about their odds?
Meet the young entrepreneur spearheading the cause of making luxury affordable and accessible. This is Anvita Mehra, the co-founder of Confidential Couture. And her partner in luxury is Jharna Gyan Chandani, who is the Chief Operating Officer at the venture. Both the women share a passion for business and of course staunchly believe that the luxury market is primed to grow and give them the returns on investment that they desire. But what prompted them to start a venture to resell pre-owned luxury?
So this is way back in 2009 when we sold one of our items to sort of collect money to go on this trip. And it worked because we got cash in hand and that was the entire experience. That we got cash in hand and then we were like, oh wow, like this actually works. Someone actually bought this and we were able to make money. So we, in a sense, we made some money, we went on that holiday and it actually occurred to us that there's something like this would do really well in India.
Now how does this work? As a seller, you can just log on to the venture's website and fill a form with the products you wish to sell through the portal and then answer some easy questions about the date, place of purchase and authenticity cards and original packaging. The Confidential Couture team then devises a custom price range in which this product fits in. The final price determination and product analysis along with the first round of authenticity checks are done in person by the team's experts, after which a consignment contract is signed between Confidential Couture and the customers for a period of 3 months. The product is then refurbished and restored to its pristine quality and undergoes an examination by the venture's authenticating partners in the US, a firm called Authenticate First. The sellers get paid once their items are sold, earning up to 70% of value of the items. And this is called re-commerce. So what's the aim of this startup?
People from all walks of life, people from all over the country, whether you're in a tier 2, tier 3, whether you're in a metro, you're a college student, you could be anybody. We're just making sure that, and we want to, even in the future, make sure that buying and selling luxury should be just hassle-free.
Gauging from its website and the inner workings of the venture, the team categorizes all the products under never been used, gently used and fairly used. This gives buyers a realistic impression of the product along with a detailed list of the use in the descriptions. The team understands that the luxury market rides strongly on customer experience and a buyer's touch with luxury must be effortless and indulgent. The target market of this venture comprises both buyers and sellers, with young women between the ages of 17 to 50 years making up the buyer's profile. The sellers, on the other hand, are usually women between the age groups of 30 to 60 years.
I think a breakthrough came because of simultaneous campaigns. We started doing private viewings, so before, if someone was even slightly interested, we would offer to send the product, someone to examine it. We offer 100% money back guarantee if something is fake. So we were taking care of the areas where people felt, they were not sure or iffy about. So I see, we're not limited. That's what I see us as. Like, we are in fact breaking limitations of just of these brands just being affordable to the rich or the extremely rich.
Well, this bootstrap startup seems to be doing pretty well now, and the website has gathered around 2 million page views. The founders have shipped around 600 orders in the last 1 year and their venture is growing by 20% month on month. But here is what we want to know. What is the scale and scope for a re-commerce startup like Confidential Couture? Does India serve as a lucrative market for the pre-owned luxury segment?
Confidential Couture is both a money maker and a money saver. How does that work?
Right, so we have two aspects of the business. So one is the buying side and one is the selling side. So as a buyer, you are a money saver, and as a seller, you're a money maker because you sell your pre-owned items and get cash for it.
What is your revenue model?
So we basically give you a definite price on the selling side, and then the buyer has the final price and we make the margin in between. So it's a complete commission model.
Do you think that India is a good market for pre-owned luxury items?
I guess awareness, exposure, all of these add to our existing pre-owned segment. Because in a sense, luxury has become, a lot of people understand luxury now, as I would say. So it's obviously a better market for us.
What do you think is the scale and scope of this re-commerce market?
Right, so I think we're here to stay for sure. Broadly because we make luxury accessible to a larger spectrum of people. So we're, in a sense, to the aspirational youth, people who never thought they could afford luxury, the middle class. We see people emerging out of those classes and purchasing from us.
Is there some idea or skill that you've incorporated into Confidential Couture that's made a big difference for the startup?
It's actually a very difficult concept for people to understand, especially back when we started. So I guess Instagram has been a tool that we've used to sort of create awareness about the concept. We've done a couple of campaigns. One was a Say No to Fakes campaign, which was basically we were trying to sort of educate the general audience about differentiating between a real and a fake bag. That really, in a sense, helped us, and we obviously did it through Instagram, and that really helped us generate, the idea. We made the idea very clear in people's heads that what we do, what is the concept. Because, back in 2014, we were asked, like, what is pre-owned luxury? What do you mean by it? So Instagram has been one tool that that's really helped us to spread awareness about our own concept. Because it was so new and it was so alien to India. So it's really helped us build our brand.
So this Louis Vuitton bag is usually 66,000 rupees, but on Confidential Couture, you can get it for 30,000, which, even if that's still pricey, it's a much more accessible cost. And one of the most fascinating things that I found in speaking with the founders is that actually they don't sell highest in Bombay or Delhi. They sell highest in Tier 2 cities. So it's clear that people want designer goods not just in the cities with showrooms. That said, the same as any e-commerce company, the challenge they face is scaling up and then maintaining that growth. Anyway, that's my impression of Confidential Couture. Let's hear what the mentors have to say about this.
Meet Raman Roy, co-founder of the Indian Angel Network. He's also the chairman and managing director of Quattro Global Services, a leading knowledge process outsourcing company. Raman has a keen eye for startups and does not mince his words. Our second mentor is Vikram Upadhyay, the founding chief mentor at GHV Accelerator. Vikram has been actively associated with Angel Networks through his career and founded GHV Accelerator in 2014.
Anyone would like to liquidate the asset. We call that as asset. So it's a dead inventory for me right now, investments. So if someone brings a model where pre-owned products can be done, I'll be more than happy. There are people who won't mind to have it at a discounted price, but then it has to be not a nominal, it has to be a substantial discount going to it.
I think one big challenge they will have is the footprint of this. Their model here is to be inserted in the middle. So there are incremental logistic challenges, but if they can be overcome, if you could have some sort of freight and carriage methodology where the luxury products are not harmed, I think the potential is huge.
One thing we know is India is a nation with many languages and a huge non-English speaking population. But the startup landscape is populated with startups that haven't yet launched in vernacular languages. That's why today on State of the Startup, we want to know if startups face limited reach because of this language barrier, and if these B2C startups should launch themselves in local languages.
Startups in local languages. While this may not be the need of the hour, it sure is an important factor for startups to expand their reach. Players like Snapdeal and InShots have already turned their attention towards this and introduced content in local languages. Experts say for any app which introduces a vernacular language version, the user base of local language users comprises almost 20 to 30% in the digital ecosystem.
Startups which will be able to do it in a great and a quick manner would definitely benefit, and they will see significant traction.
In my view, 250 million people in this country, they can read and write in English, they have a smartphone, and they can do anything if there's a nice offering online. But has your startup captured those 250 million people? If not, I think investing in a local vernacular language is perhaps may not be a good return of investment right now.
For a B2C startup to succeed in India, they need to understand two things. How do I scale beyond urban centers, and how do I monetize beyond urban centers? Because both of these are challenges. Scaling, it requires language / many other tweaks on your product to make it feasible for people in tier 2, tier 3 towns to start using your product. And the second part is, how do I monetize in those markets? But with the advent of 4G, Geo, and even digital wallets, all of these things seem to be solvable.
आपको लगता है कि you have found your ideal hotel? Well, book करने से पहले check on Trivago to see if you can book it somewhere else for an even better price. Hotel Trivago.
One of the toughest, most challenging assignments one has been able to go on is to the Pakistani part of Kashmir. A difficult assignment because we were constantly under the ISI's watch. We were even threatened about breaking away from our group and talking to local people about young men who had crossed over the line of control.
After an argument and as a horde of government agents look on, we decide to break free from the organized schedule.
We're finally in Muzaffarabad, the capital of the so-called Azad Kashmir. One of the most historic events in Jammu and Kashmir, the Srinagar-Muzaffarabad bus restarting after decades.
उड़ी में हम जाना चाहते हैं जी, हमारी ये हसरत है.
They boarded a bus which is going to bring them here to the line of control in the next few minutes. Sometimes our job takes us to the most risky places, but we don't have time to think about that because there's a job to be done, a story to be told. In POK, Nidhi Razdan for NDTV 24/7.
Calipers. We haven't really heard these words since, well, technology like this caught up to us. But that really is how Map My India got its start.
The ability to plot yourself on a map, digital or otherwise, has come to define our lives. From days when a caliper and old school maps identified our footprint in the world to today's high-tech, accurate digital footprints. Mapping has come a long, long way.
Today on Unicorn, we're telling you a tale as old as time. Okay, all right, it's not as old as time, but this startup really has been around a while. This is MapMyIndia. Located in the heart of India's capital in New Delhi, MapMyIndia is one of India's most successful startup stories, despite having the likes of Google as competition. So, will MapMyIndia be India's next unicorn? Let's find out.
Well, it's not every day we get cozy with a startup which competes with the big daddy of maps, Google Maps. But the founders of MapMyIndia have their own success story to tell. Meet Rakesh Verma, the co-founder of MapMyIndia. An alumnus of BITS Pilani, Rakesh moved back to India after a successful stint in the US and set up his venture, which now has one of the largest repositories of digital map data available to India today. And his partner in crime, success and life is his wife Rashmi Verma, the co-founder of MapMyIndia. This one is a true blue success story. The technology behind digital mapping is opening new frontiers for different sectors and changing our lives. Be it Google Maps, Apple Maps or our very own MapMyIndia, mapping is revolutionizing the way we travel, how much we walk, where we eat and even where we live. And that is what fascinated the brains behind MapMyIndia.
Believe me, making digital maps in 1995, and it practically didn't exist in India. Even if you look at the US and other countries, it was in its early stages. Technology was hardly available, but we said we will do it and we will do it.
So what all does MapMyIndia do for you? A lot. From people tracking and vehicle tracking solutions, this venture even helps companies secure their staff and assets. Many travel and cab services have deployed MapMyIndia tracking, which is not just helping them secure passengers but also contributing towards enhancing their service levels and operational efficiencies. Some of these include Ola Cabs and Taxi for Sure, which use MapMyIndia's tracking services. The company also deals with large automotive organizations. For instance, it designed a navigation solution for Tata Motors' new car, the Bolt. Instead of providing an in-dash embedded navigation suite, the company uses technology that allows MapMyIndia navigation in the user's smartphone to sync with the car head unit. Navigation and tracking, the big USPs here.
Gradually the technology started coming in. We got satellite images, and the satellite images could give a very good view of what the reality was on the ground. From there we moved on and the GPS technology came in. And once the GPS came in, we started getting more accurate level of locations. If one word I have to use, what business we are in, I will say it's the location.
Live digital maps have become a necessity for most of us. They have made us independent travelers, confident navigators across uncharted territories, and even skilled pedestrians across long routes. And MapMyIndia is making the most of the need for independence that digital mapping has put into the Indian traveller. The venture's interactive maps portal, mapmyindia.com, which has gone on to provide detailed maps, is improving the quality of everyday life for all net-connected Indians. And since then, MapMyIndia has map-enabled many popular websites like Make My Trip and Magic Bricks. But let's be frank, it's competition from Google Maps that concerns us. Are the founders worried? Seems not.
Earlier, when we started out, most of the time we were using to educate people how to use the digital maps and make themselves more efficient and cost effective and all kinds of things. But now with the competition, people get to know about it through them also and then come to us.
Today, MapMyIndia offers navigation solutions to leading car manufacturers such as GM, Mahindra & Mahindra, BMW, Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford, Jaguar Land Rover and Tata Motors. The company's mobile apps are empowering more smartphones. Everything seems too good to be true, right? But we still have some questions. How will MapMyIndia fight the competition in the digital mapping space? How does MapMyIndia take on the competition from Google Maps head-on?
MapMyIndia has mapping software and a consumer app, But it also has two hardware devices, SafeMate and DriveMate. How do these make the most of your core system?
Well, the SafeMate product is primarily designed for the safety of women and children, whereas the DriveMate is primarily designed for the purpose of taking care of the health of the vehicle as well as tracking the vehicle.
What's stopping other technology companies from entering this space?
As far as the digital map services are concerned, there are thousands of companies in India. Productizing map is much more complex than productizing a software. And the entry barrier is also based on the fact that you have to have a process to continuously update and upgrade your maps.
Tell me what your valuations have been so far.
The last valuation was a $250 million valuation of MapMyIndia, which I think we are proud of, that the work we are doing and how the market is perceiving to become a stakeholder in MapMyIndia.
How do you plan to face the competition with Google Maps head-on?
The revenue that MapMyIndia generates through its digital map is much more than I am 100% sure than what Google Maps creates out of India. The reason is fundamental. MapMyIndia builds industry-grade maps and Google makes a consumer-grade maps. There is a difference between the quality and the accuracy of the two.
When talking to a lot of startup founders, not just here but abroad as well, they talk about data collection, they talk about big data, but they can't figure out how to monetize it. MapMyIndia, through licensing with so many major companies and brands, has really found a way to stay financially fit through all these startup storms. Anyway, that's my impression of MapMyIndia. Let's hear what the mentors have to say about it.
MapMyIndia has to think about certain sectors like education. The educational tools which need the young kids to learn the geography of India, the geography of the world. So they should try to innovate around that.
The need for tracking where an individual is or where a vehicle is mammoth. This is not about hardware sales, this is not about software sales, this is about analytics and the information. If they are able to convert their business into analytics and information, the potential is mammoth.
Today we met two startups that have gotten into the startup game at very different points. MapMyIndia began in the 90s, but has diversified their portfolio into hardware and licensing their software. It's so much more than just a way to help customers get around. Then there's Confidential Couture, which is doing something really ambitious. It's trying to make this country comfortable with buying and selling pre-owned, they call it pre-loved, luxury goods. Do you think that your startup is the next big thing? Then write to us. Email unicorn@ndtv.com or tweet us at @prime_unicorn. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week, only on Unicorn Chasing the Startup Dream.